So I'd like to talk about the Swedish model. No, not that Swedish model. I'm actually talking about drug policy. So the first time I'd ever heard the term Swedish model, other than talking about Claudia Schiffer, was referring to the drug policy of Sweden. Um, Apparently, Sweden has a zero tolerance drug policy. They There's very little discussion of any sort of medical benefits of marijuana. They there's very few harm prevention measures. They carry tough sentences, and there's very little differentiation between soft and hard drugs. Also hemp is illegal there. So a lot of in a lot of ways, they're almost more right wing on drug policy than America, and they've actually seen a decline in drug use since these policies were first implemented in the late '60s, and so because of that, prohibitionists love to point to Sweden and say, "See, the Swedish did it. The Swedish got tough on drugs, and they managed to become a more temperate society." And ignoring the fact that the Netherlands has also seen a similar decline in drug use among its population, and I'm not counting tourists, of course, who are the main drug users in their country. Okay, so the Netherlands and Sweden have both seen a decline in drug use. So, and one of them has very permissive drug laws, the other one has very restrictive drug laws. So, which model is better? For one thing, I think you have to look at how, first of all, the Netherlands treats its hard drug addicts. They basically like heroin addicts are given maintenance doses so that they can sort of get by and function in society, and I think that's actually a more compassionate way of addressing these problems than locking them up. And more to the point, though, I think that I think we ought to really start with the assumption of liberty, and I realize that I can't really provide the rational justification for this, because I think liberty is just one of those values that, even though maybe it's just my cultural programming, but it's just something that seems self-evidently valuable to me. And so, I mean, my basic position is I start from a position of libertarianism. I start from the assumption that people ought to be as free as humanly possible. And then from there I start asking, what problems arise from that? And then my next step is, how can we address those problems in the least intrusive way possible? So, so basically, with drugs, with prostitution, with guns, even, my position is basically, okay, I believe that we should address these in a way that we keep them legal, if at all possible, but figure out what regulations need to be in place in order to make them less dangerous. And actually, one thing I think when you look at Sweden, one of the biggest things that stands out compared to the U.S. is its cradle-to-grave welfare state. Now, I'm actually not so much an advocate of welfare state, but of welfare statism, but I am an advocate of ending poverty, and I've emphasized this point over and over again, because I believe that that poverty can be ended. We have it within our control to end poverty as we know it, and so many of the problems associated with all these cultural vices that we think of are, in so many ways related to poverty. And so I really do think that's the first step we have to do in trying to address any of these problems, is create a society that works for everyone, and that makes that raises the well-being of the least well off. And so many of the problems that we associate with these other things will just go to the wayside just from that. And then from there, we can ask, okay, well, what further steps can we do to make it safer? So yeah, I mean, if I think if you have a society that, with no poverty, and had no drug laws, it would probably have fewer problems with drugs than in Sweden, or the Netherlands. But then there may still be some problems. So of course you need to have some regulations for quality control and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, I think that poverty itself can be dealt with in a way that is the least intrusive as possible, and so that's why I advocate, rather than the sort of progressive income tax structure that so many other progressives advocate. I prefer land value taxation because it accomplishes that progressivity without penalizing the people for earning more money at their work. It differentiates between what kind of wealth you're earning, where you got that wealth, and B, it restores the commons, which is sort of the foundation from which people build wealth, and C, is a lot less intrusive in terms of your personal life. Income taxes have to pry into all these personal things about, how much did you earn this year, what deductions you're claiming, and all this stuff. With land value taxation, you don't even have to talk to the person to know how much their land is worth, because you can compare it to other houses in the neighborhood. So really, it's one of the least intrusive taxes, and it's also progressive, which and would go a long way towards ending poverty. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, I believe we have to start from the assumption of liberty and move from there to justice and equality, with the minimal sacrifice of liberty. So I guess that's my thoughts for now. Peace.